Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk radio podcasts however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. I stress this all the time, and you've heard me probably to the point of nausea, where you hear Tom talk about train. You got to be training all the time. Training does not mean practice. Practice is one thing, where you go out to the range and shoot by yourself or with your buddies. Training is classes. Actually going and working with a coach or an instructor, where you're there to learn. And we're really lucky because we have a lot of good trainers now. And a lot of them have come from various disciplines. Joining me right now is one of the very best. Max Michel joins us. He's 10-year Army veteran, Army Marksmanship Unit. He's 7-time U.S. Steel National Champion, 7-time World Speed Shooting Champion. It just goes on and on. Guinness World Record holder, blah, blah, blah. Max Michel, one of the good guys, and crazy fast. How you doing, partner?
Good, Tom. How are you?
I am well. All right, funniest thing. You contact me along with our mutual buddy, Steve Tarani, a few months ago. He said, hey, Tom, we want to do a class together. You know any range where we could maybe put something together and then throw a class together? I said, well, as a matter of fact, I do know of a range where you might be able to put that together. How about our range?
Yes. Yeah, I'm glad it's all working out, Tom. This is going to be awesome.
It is. All right. So back up and tell me, first of all, for those who don't know, Steve Tarani is a master in hands-on fighting, knives, all sorts of stuff, as well as being a really good shooter, and got a vast experience in all sorts of protective duties, that kind of a thing, around the world. He's been in a lot of, what would you say, paramilitary is the nice way to say a lot of the stuff he's done. But this is the guy that knows his stuff.
Yeah, Steve's awesome. So, Tom, I've heard the name Steve Tarani for years and years, working at the 6-Star Academy. He was there a lot, working with those guys back in the day, and I've been there for 15 years now, so that name has come up quite a bit. And he recently came into one of my courses just last year. I hosted a big event in Las Vegas, and I was going through the class roster, and that name jumped out, and I was like, oh, my goodness, Steve Tarani is in my course, one of the legends of our industry.
Wow.
So I wanted to make sure that I provided good enough training for everyone there, and obviously for him as well. And at the end of it, he was really complimentary about the instruction and how, more importantly, how it all related to what he did. So that really got us talking about what we could offer to the general public, not just a shooting course, not just a hand-to-hand course, but how do we put it together to where it packages it nicely for everyone to be able to utilize it in a stressful situation.
Okay, so what is this course you're going to be doing?
Yeah, so we call it Hands to Gun. So as you mentioned, Steve is the guru of all things defensive tactics. So, if you don't want to go to the gun for whatever reason or can't get to a gun for whatever reason, he kind of teaches that close quarter, that extreme close quarter kind of violent attack, and how do we defend against that. And then once you go to the gun, once that hand touches the gun, that's where I take over and work on that kind of high-performance shooting, speed shooting with acceptable accuracy, and kind of taking them to the next level should they need to go that route.
Interesting. And of course, the other part is you are incredibly fast at what you do. And having taken a class, I did a 5-day close quarters battle class with Steve. He is incredibly fast with what he does. I would think it would just be a hoot and a half to have the two of you guys together.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun, but a lot of learning as well. So you mentioned down at your range at Range Ready in Robert, Louisiana, October 13th through the 15th. We're going to have a bunch of folks coming out there and really kind of putting all of our minds together, trying to help create the best learning environment for everyone there. As I mentioned, from kind of hand-to-hand defensive tactics, where they'll be working with Steve for a few hours. We'll take a lunch break, and they'll come back and work with me on the pistol side of things for a few hours and put it all together for everybody.
And this is a 2-day class?
It's a 3-day class, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, October 13th through the 15th.
Nice. 3 days, and I'm looking on the line. If you go to Range Ready Studios, it's there. $899, which is a steal for that, to get the both of you for 3 days. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great value, but more importantly, I just want to be able to produce the best training possible for whoever that wants it.
What do people need to have as far as a background to come to this?
Tom, I work with guys that are brand new, never drawn from a holster before, all the way up to world-level champion shooters. So I say anyone and everyone. If you're somebody out there that is very well trained, come on out and there's going to be something for you. If you're somebody that's brand new, again, come on out because you're going to be able to absorb whatever it is you're ready to absorb. And whether you're a brand new shooter or a new shooter or somebody who's out there that's competing on a regular basis, there's going to be something for everyone to go and learn from. I always say, Tom, it's like you're not ready to absorb what you're ready to absorb until you're ready to absorb it. So what I mean by that is you could take a class and you can go back and take that same class next year and you'll learn something again because, well, you weren't quite ready to absorb it just yet. Yeah,
absolutely. So I mean, I've done the same thing. I've gone back to gun sites several times, taken the same class, and every time I learn something, even though it's the same class, but it's not the same class.
Right. You're like, hey, why didn't you tell me that before? Well, I told you that before. You just weren't ready to learn it yet.
I just had a thought. Because you're doing hands-on as well as handguns, I'm just going to throw out, I think this would be a great class for a lot of women who are interested in their own personal defense.
Most definitely. I mean, you think about, especially nowadays with, everybody's trying to get as trained up as much as possible, whether they want to have a gun or not. This is going to be an opportunity to learn and train with some of the best out there.
Even if you do carry a gun, there are places where we go where you can't. There are times when you can't carry, and picking up some of these hands-on skills are going to be real valuable.
Absolutely. Agreed.
All right, Max, hold on a second. I'm going to take a break here. When we come back, I'm going to pick your brains on how we're going to make people better shooters just right here on the radio. We're talking with Max Michel. You can also take a look at what he does and a little bit more about Max. Look at Max Michel, Michel, it's one L, maxmichel.com.